My name is Michael Williams. I am the sixth generation Stagville freedman descendant of my three times great grandparents Daniel Goodloe and Mariah Justice. I've always had a fascination with trains since my childhood days growing up in Brooklyn, New York. 2003 was when I began to dive into researching my family history. As I investigated my Durham, North Carolina roots, I discovered an 1870 U.S. federal census that listed my third great-grandfather, Daniel Goodloe, working for the North Carolina Railroad Company. Wow, instantly I was intrigued to learn more. And I asked myself, could there be a possible connection to the incredible Brotherhood Sleeping Car Porters Union? Or did my Daniel Goodloe live during the time of John Henry? I remember hearing that song in grade school, working on a railroad all day long. Well, in order for me to dive deeper, I needed to find out where the surviving records of the North Carolina Railroad might exist. The surviving records for the North Carolina Railroads exist at Duke University, and there's also a 2-volume set that exists at the North Carolina State Archives in downtown Raleigh. I found my ancestor in the 2-volume record set titled North Carolina Railroad Payroll and Salaries, 1849 to 1952. And that was in box number 92. And in those papers, I was able to find my ancestor in the February, May, and August 1871 payroll sheets. I was pleased to find Daniel Goodloe listed as an official North Carolina Railroad employee. Daniel Goodloe was formerly enslaved by Paul Cameron at Stagville. And because of this connection, I wondered if Daniel Goodloe received some sort of a recommendation or a shoo-in from Paul to land a job working on the 11th section of the railroad line, as stated on his payroll record. After verifying Daniel Goodloe's pay records, I wondered if any other Goodloes in my family had a connection to the trains. I hit pay dirt when I uncovered the 1887 Durham City Directory listing a porter near C.G. Farthing's store by the name of Amos Goodloe. Ironically, my family's connection to the railroad predates the launching of the Brotherhood Sleeping Car Porters Union for black porters in 1925. The greatest insight into the legacy of railroad expansion in North Carolina came from reading Dr. Allen W. Irelese's book titled The North Carolina Railroad, 1849 to 1871, and the Modernization of North Carolina. This book underscores the legacy of black labor as it pertains to the construction and advancement of the railroad industry statewide and throughout the country. Furthermore, the North Carolina Railroad Company primarily utilized company-owned and contracted slave labor to dig the tunnels, lay down the tracks, fix and maintain the trains as well. It turns out that the year that my Daniel Goodloe served on the North Carolina Railroad team was during the Reconstruction era and a critical time of advancement in North Carolina history and economic prosperity. All of the laborers listed on the payroll sheets should be honored and celebrated because their sacrifice paved the way for the convenience of the present-day North Carolina by Train initiative that's available and makes it possible for residents who commute to Charlotte and back for work every day. Who knew?